Hi my loves, and welcome to Near a Star. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My channel is dedicated to all my new and current ongoing obsessions, interests, interesting thought walks, and today I'd like to share my favorite tarot and oracle decks. So I've been with tarot since 2010, 2011. My first deck was actually gifted to me by my middle school best friend, and it was a Guardian Angel Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. And since then, I've acquired my own tarot and oracle decks. I am an intuitive reader. I mostly do readings for myself, for self-discovery, self-exploration, for insight, for a lot of encouragement, and I believe that these messages that come across are from God, my angels, and my higher self. I've actually been wanting to do this video for a long time, and in the process of planning this video, I realized that a huge factor of why I bought the decks I did is because of the artwork, which totally makes sense. I'm an artist, and as you'll see in the video, one of my favorite art movements is Art Nouveau. If you don't know, Art Nouveau is an art movement in the early 19th century that focused on creating art based on organic, natural forms, for example, curvilinear floral forms. And a lot of artists at that time were very inspired by the whiplash sinuous curves of Japanese print designs. So my favorites are probably going to be very different to yours, probably very different to others. I'm sure that people are called to their decks based on very different things. So without further ado, I'd like to share mine. So I'm going to go into chronological order with Tarot Mucha. Tarot Mucha is a deck illustrated by Julia Masaglia, and I was drawn to this deck because illustrations draw huge inspiration from Alphonse Mucha, and I love Alphonse Mucha. Alphonse Mucha is an artist during the Art Nouveau movement, and he is famous for depicting beautiful women in flowing neoclassical-like robes surrounded by organic forms, flora. The front of the box actually is referencing his artwork, Fruit. And here's another example of his work, The Seasons. He has absolutely breathtaking, beautiful, magical artwork. And so I wanted to get this deck for that reason. This deck has the traditional 78 cards, a very good booklet, thick. When I was learning tarot, the descriptions in this booklet were very helpful, so I'm definitely happy to get this. It's a very beginner friendly deck. I want to share my favorite cards from this deck based on the artwork. Here is the 9 of Pentacles, the 2 of Swords, the 2 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, the 3 of Cups, the Star, and the 7 of Cups, which honestly has been the most reoccurring card in a lot of my tarot readings. Gorgeous, gorgeous deck. This deck has been the longest deck that I've been connected to. It's seen me through my lowest of lows and my highest of highs, and it's always been straightforward, on the nose, and yeah, it's been a very great companion all these years. Next, we have Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot by Matt Hughes. I adore this deck. Look at that gold foil stamping. And again, I chose this deck because it draws inspiration from Art Nouveau. Beautiful. This deck is amazing because it actually is dedicated to the artist's journey of exploration and meditations. And what's very interesting about this deck is that it varies from the traditional 78 cards. It actually has 80 cards with an addition of 2, the Artist and the Well. This deck is just so gorgeous. I'd like to share my favorite cards based on the art. Here's the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups, the 3 of Cups, the Star, the Empress, and the Chariot. Love this deck. This is actually my go-to tarot deck. It's very easy to do readings with this deck. I use my intuition. It feels easy to understand what messages are coming across. I definitely recommend this deck for any other creatives out there. I think it's beautiful in the fact that it is dedicated to the artist's journey, and the artwork is just truly gorgeous. Now, moving on to my favorite oracle decks, I absolutely love Oracle of the Hidden Worlds by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Gilbert Williams. I honestly believe that they have created such a powerfully positive and magnificently magical deck together. I actually researched Lucy Cavendish and Gilbert Williams just because I've seen Cavendish's name pop up a lot in the spiritual community, and she is a well-known spiritual author and intuitive expert. And what was really awesome to read is her mission. Her mission is to inspire intuitive people to break through their conditioning, open up to their potential, discover their own brand of genius, and dare to live brave, bright, authentic lives. And I thought that was such an impactful mission statement because you can clearly see that in this deck. And I haven't picked up any of her other decks or her books, but I'm sure it shows in those decks and books as well. And as for Williams, he's a visionary artist, and most of his art focuses on the spiritual and supernatural worlds. And here are some more examples of his art. Very otherworldly, very magical, very light and ethereal. So this deck has 44 cards. The box and the booklet and the cards all have like a very nice soft matte feeling. It's really gorgeous. So I'd like to share what's on the back of this booklet. It says, "We live in a beautiful world, one which we experience with our senses. When we are fully connected, it is a satisfying, deeply blessed, and heart-nurturing place. We are a planet of wondrous creatures of earth, sky, and sea, soaring mountains and splendid forests, and intelligent, astonishing beings. Behind what we see lie further wonders, realms between realms, worlds between worlds. Some are with us still, just beyond the veil of sight, and some we will experience when we are in between lives. These other worlds have been placed carefully and deliberately behind the veils of what we humans call reality in order to protect and preserve their wisdom and energies. They are now slowly revealing themselves, allowing themselves to be experienced and discovered, remembered, and restored." And this deck, and just reading the descriptions of the cards, just bring me back to when I was a kid and I believed magic was real, if you truly believe. So I'd like to share with you my favorite cards based on the artwork. Here is the Dolphin Collar, the Dawn Watcher, Path of the Gods, Kindred Spirits, and Isle of Wonders. Very magical, these cards. I really love this deck. This deck feels like an old friend, even though I recently bought it last year. Anytime I do readings with this deck, I feel instantly rejuvenated and uplifted and positive. It's like a reminder that I have a huge spiritual family out there who is rooting for me, who are my spiritual cheerleaders, and that honestly gets me through my day. It's just such a very touching feeling. I definitely recommend this deck to everyone out there who also believes that magic is real. I definitely recommend this deck to you. My second and last favorite oracle deck is Secret Garden by Jessica Lay. It is such an adorable and charming deck. It's only 4 inches by 2¼ inches. I was drawn to this deck because of Jessica Lay's illustrations. Lo and behold, draw inspiration from the Art Nouveau movement and old fairy tales. Other than that, just really love garden motifs. I love anything that has to do with flowers. And this deck is just very straight to the point. It has the word and then kind of its brief meaning on the bottom. Some other cards as well. Don't really have favorites because all the illustrations are similar, except each card has a very different symbol right here. But yeah, I mostly use this deck to start my day. I draw like a card for the day, I draw a card for the month, and the box has this very satisfying magnetic close. Really satisfying. That is the end of my favorites, but I do have an honorable mention. It is an honorable mention because it is my most recent purchase, and I haven't spent a lot of time with this deck, but it is Witchlings by Paulina, Cassidy. I saw this deck from a tarot card reading on YouTube. I don't remember who was doing the tarot reading, but I was instantly drawn to this little character right here. I love this owl. He is so small. He is so cute. I love him. He is in all the cards. This deck has 40 cards and an incredibly thick booklet. Reason being that the booklet not only has the card meanings, but it actually includes spells as well. Now, this deck, of course, its artwork is not inspired by Art Nouveau, but it is very whimsical and lovely. So I'd like to share the cards that are my favorite based on the art. Here are Dreams, Rejuvenation, Vitality, Opportunity, and Nurture. This deck has been overwhelmingly positive and just so gentle whenever I do readings. It feels like I'm talking to a sister. The messages that come across are just so lighthearted and just full of love. I'm definitely looking forward to doing more readings with this deck in the near future. So there you have it. Those are my favorite tarot and oracle decks. I hope you enjoyed learning more about them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button below, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for any future uploads to this channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!